Y'all ready to be history?
Get started.
Welcome
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
to the Pro Audio Suite, thanks to Rode Microphones.
These guys are professional. They're motivated.
Introducing Robert Marshall from Source Elements and Someone Audio Post, Chicago. Darren Robbo Robertson from Voodoo Radio Imaging, Sydney. Tech to the VO Stars, George the Tech Whittam from LA. And me, Andrew Peters, voiceover talent and home studio guy.
Line up, ladies!
Here we go.
Welcome to another Pro Audio Suite. This week, we're going to guess the mic. George, you got a sample of a voice track, and you sent it to us saying, guess the mic. Can we have a listen to the sample you sent?
I'll be glad to.
Like right now, and I've just had coffee. So apologies for all the clicks and things. But hopefully this is pretty decent. It's not so bad from the sides if I'm doing efforts, that kind of thing. But obviously this is, we hope to upgrade. So thanks so much for your help. If you need anything else, let me know.
Yeah, I do. What's the mic?
Okay.
Well, to give you an idea, she wants to upgrade. So
Yep.
Yeah.
that
So
would give you
price,
a little
we're talking under $500.
It's a low price point.
Okay, my initial thought, how do we want to do this? Just like one guess and that's it? Or
Yeah,
do we
one
want to kind of
guess.
talk about
Everyone
it and
throws in
suggest?
there one
21
guess.
questions.
Yeah, 21 questions, I reckon.
21 questions, okay. But then we can go by shape and stuff. And
Nah, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Do you
going to
want
throw
start
out
by
there.
a brand?
Yeah, I'm going to throw out there. I reckon it's the Rode video mic, and I reckon it's in the cat.
Yeah, the dead
Oh,
cat.
the dead cat.
Yeah, sorry.
Not
it's
a real
inside
dead
the
cat,
dead
of
cat.
course.
You are wrong on all accounts.
Wow. Okay. There we
Wow.
go. All right.
Okay, so we're talking, it's not a shotgun, I'm guessing.
It is not a shotgun.
I think it's either one of two things, and they're pretty different. Either like a Zoom handheld audio recorder being used as a mic, or it's like a snowball.
The second guess is closer.
Okay. It's like a
Oh, come on,
So it's a
Andrew. You're the
USB
one.
mic.
It's up to you, mate.
So it's going to be, I'm guessing it's a USB mic. And is it a Rode?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so back to Robbo.
Holy crap. It's not a Yeti.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
I was, yes.
Oh, wow.
I was very close with
Shit.
the snowball. Like,
Yeah, you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
It's a Yeti.
How the hell
So
did she do that?
What's the environment?
It's a Yeti, and you had the next part is guess what the acoustical treatment is for her setup. I know this is ridiculous
Clothes
stuff to
closet.
guess.
Okay, well, it's got
It
to
is a closet. It is a closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a clothes closet. Yeah.
But there's
It's just
something
clothes
more.
and
There's
stuff.
something more to it than just clothing and
It's a little bit tubby sounding. So I bet maybe she's got it sitting inside of some sort of reflection filter or a like a pop
Or
porta
a,
booth or something.
Yeah, I reckon like a Harlan Hogan.
I
thing.
hope not a Chaotica.
I told you you're going to hate this.
It's a Chaotica.
It is a Chaotica.
Holy
Yeah.
Yeti
what?
inside a Chaotica
God, that's
eyeball.
like a pretty, yeah.
Wow.
Wow,
it did
that's-
sound really tubby. Yeah.
It does sound boxy,
But
doesn't it? But still not that terrible,
does.
though.
Not as much as I thought it should sound. I thought
Yeah.
it would sound really bad, but that didn't sound.
I told you. And I was like,
mean-
how the heck did you fit that Yeti in the eyeball? Because I've seen those and I have one on my shelf. And,
They make two eyeballs. Like
and
one that's
they
bigger
make
than the
one
other.
that can accommodate we call it the Magnum edition.
Does it come with a moustache?
Did they really name it that?
No,
Please say
I just made that up.
Thank you. Yeah.
They have one that can accommodate mics of size. Let's put it that way. But here's
Wow.
what's funny: like that Chaotica eyeball, right, is more expensive than the mic
It's
inside
hundreds of
it.
dollars. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a
Oh,
$200 thing. The mic
my
is like
gosh.
what 100, less, way under 100, and it's just
Okay, you're forced to
wackiest-
buy one of them. You're forced to buy one of them. Which one do you buy?
the Yeti all
The
day.
Yeti.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
You know, the Yeti is an interesting mic. It's one of the first good sounding USB mics, I'd argue. That and the Apogee mic. Those are two.
Yeah.
The Apogee mic is a proper, like, large diaphragm capsule or medium sized capsule, right? And what the Yeti is doing is electric capsules, and there's multiple ones in there, right? So there's a stereo
That's
capsule.
the problem is the Yeti's got like too much going on with it.
Right.
And it's trying to be too many, make too many people happy. And there's ways to mess it up. And it's got a really stupid stand too.
It's a bizarre shape. It's extremely heavy. People misplace it all the time. Like
Yeah,
I
they
just
talk about
saw
the
a
top
video
of
2
it.
days ago where the mic is right on the edge of the frame and it's the top of the mic
Yeah.
is pointing towards the person. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like people really don't know even how to use this mic. So it's a
And aren't
weird
the
one.
snowballs also dual element, like condenser and
I believe
dynamic
they are.
or something?
I don't think they're not dynamic condenser, but they have like
or they're stereo and mono.
I'm not sure. The original Snowball was extremely basic, but it did have a switch on it that changed the way it sounded.
Direction, yeah.
I think so. But the Yeti, the weird thing about a Yeti is it's a THX certified mic.
No,
I
what
don't
does
know
that
what
mean?
that means in terms of pro audio because the two don't mix.
You
THX
paid enough
is,
to Tom Holman to...
well, there you go. THX is a consumer thing, right? It's not consumer only. It's what do you call it?
It's like a playback setup.
It's a playback format.
It's not even a format. It's
like a setup.
It's a measurement of quality to be THX certified.
Well, yeah, there you go. It's a standard. Yeah, there you go.
It's a standard, right?
Yeah.
But it's a standard for monitoring or playback systems.
That's right.
So how they got a microphone certified under THX, I don't know how.
Well,
but
you pay enough
a big
money, I
part of that
suppose.
mic is how quiet it is. The self-noise as a USB mic, and a cheap one at that, is remarkable. It's really,
amongst
really
the
quiet
cheapest.
mic.
I mean, when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
look at it, it's like the mic, the headphone monitoring, mind you, a stereo and mono mic. It's like
The stereo
$150.
mono omni cardioid. I mean, it does stereo cardioid, omni, and Fig 8. It does a headphone gain control. It has a gain for the mic, all on the mic, all those things.
Does it have a blend?
It
Or
does
is it
not
just-
have a blend control, I don't think. It's just got one knob on the front for headphones.
And it's like $150, right?
It's a very affordable. And these things are sold at Apple stores. They're sold on Amazon. They're sold everywhere. I mean, they have probably made
It's the whole
a million
company.
of these things over the last 10 years. So, so they get better. They keep re-releasing it, and it gets better. So, am I going to still recommend it? No, because I think it's still, from an industrial design, a ridiculous mic. It doesn't have a good way to mount to a stand. It's really bulky and heavy. And the reason she called me is she's like, I do not want the stigma of saying, when I'm asked, what equipment do you have, of saying, I have a Yeti inside a chaotic eyeball.
Yeah.
And so she was like, what should I buy? And I recommended some, reasonably affordable sub $500, mics. I told her to get an SSL2 interface, and I'll wait to hear back from her. I said, the danger we run into here is you're going to buy all this gear, set it all up, and it may not sound quite as good. Which
As the
is
Yeti?
weird to say because it's a happy act. Sometimes a good sounding booth, like especially a closet, is completely a happy accident,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And especially like whisper rooms. I had another thing came up with a whisper room where the client said, okay, I want to tune my booth. What should I do? And I said, what do you mean tune it? Sounds okay. And they're like, really? I haven't done anything. And I'm like, well, whatever, you have the mic and
Damn
the sweet
broken.
spot. It's in every room has a sweet spot where the mic is going to be really sound great because you're in a null point, right? Where all the frequencies cancel each other out. It's like the golden spot, right? And if you put the mic there, it's going to sound damn good, right? But if you move it 3, 4, 5 inches one way or the other, it's going to sound not as good. So that happens sometimes, and it's impossible to predict. None of the acoustic engineers out there have models for this stuff. None of these guys, nobody has figured it out. You would think by now with supercomputers and AI and all these brains, they could take a box, whatever the size is, and then predict exactly where to put the mic. Like if you put it right here, it's going to sound great,
Yep.
But they don't. That just doesn't exist because they every time I talk to acoustics guys that are like, the ones with the degrees that use the big computers and the softwares and measurements and blah blah blah, their answer to all the questions every time I mention small booths, they say, "Well, it's too small," and that's all there is to it. And I'll tell you what, I can't tell you how many sessions Lori Allen recorded for Nickelodeon and everything in a closet that was 18 inches deep. I could barely fit in there. I mean, it was tiny. So,
and Lori will do some pretty animated, loud characters. So she's hitting, because sometimes, I mean, if all you ever did was whisper, you could get away with like
Absolutely.
pretty much almost anything. But it's like those actors who do cartoons where they're just like
really dynamic,
animated and loud. It's like you're exciting the whole room, and now you're exposed.
We're really going on a tangent because we mentioned Lori, but I took everything out of her really tiny closet, right? All the materials that were in there. And I put it into a closet twice the size, so she's in a bigger space, and it still sounds good. So figure that out. Isn't that weird?
So less material,
less stuff,
therefore more reflective
space.
surfaces in a bigger space.
Yeah, I didn't have to buy or add anything else. No, we're using everything that was in the original space. We just redistributed it into the bigger. I was like, I'll just use what you got and let's see how it sounds. It's been that way for 2 years. So, I mean, the thing is you can't predict it. And fact of the matter is sometimes the size of the booth, what's inside it, the cost of the gear still doesn't make a hill of beans. When it sounds good, it is good.
Exactly. But the crazy thing is
you want
this.
pro gear at some point in your career. You don't want to just get by after a while.
And the crazy thing about that setup is that it's like, we all know that the booth is going to be the first thing that affects it. So she's got a decent booth, and
it's okay. Yeah.
The thing I'd want to hear is like, let's hear it without the eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that making it worse?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like,
anytime there's an eyeball or a reflection filter or any of those things that go anywhere near the mic, I immediately say, please remove it and get me a sample. In this case, I didn't because we're buying new gear. I said, let's just get all that new gear set up. We're not going to use the eyeball. We're going to, we'll take stock. We're going to get some panels. We're going to kind of do up your booth. We'll do a little quickie makeover, and then we'll take stock as to what we should do. But yeah, we're going to leave the eyeball out of it for now.
Totally.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And then what was the other thing that somebody made a little foam box? You're on that thread, Andrew. Somebody's like, hey, I made this little box for my mic with a cotton, batting, and how did, what do you guys think?
Like their own porta booth.
Yeah, and they're like, what do you think? We've watched people make these thousands of times, right? And always causes a conversation, And of course, my very first thing is, what does it sound like? Why are we all speculating? What does it sound like? And he finally did post something, and I evaluated it, and he did a good job of recording himself without the box, with the mic deep in the box, with the mic at the edge of the box. And in the end, it made a little difference. It didn't help that much. And the further the mic was from the box, the better it sounded. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if it was all the way in the back, it sounded terrible. And if he brought it all the way out to the front, it sounded pretty good. But it didn't sound all that different from the room without the box. So,
right, well, because it's sticking out of the box.
Right.
So then what's the box doing?
What's it really doing? Yeah. So,
yeah, it's like it's listening to the null of the microphone and...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I love those little puzzles, and thanks for playing, you guys, because I knew that you would be loath to find out what it was that was actually being used.
I'm shocked.
So is the Yeti a large diaphragm condenser?
No, no, it's not. It's got multiple electret capsules, and that's what's amazing is they're able.
Is one of them a large diaphragm?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like the technology of electret mics, maybe we can geek out about this sometime. We could have like a mic designer on or something.
Pre-polarized?
Yeah, pre-polarized. Is that what they also call it? Pre-polarized
I think
capsules?
So, yeah.
The technology of that is incredibly good now. And there's for a good reason. Every cell phone has one or two or three or four. And so they're made by the billions? So they've gotten pretty good at making them, thanks to especially Apple. I mean, they throw away more capsules that don't pass their QC than probably Blue Mic will ever make.
Yeah.
Right? So they've gotten damn good at making very, very cheap, good sounding mics that are low noise. Like it's remarkable.
An iPhone in a good booth or a U47 in a crappy booth, take the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah. I say, if you have a good sounding studio, you could record a great sounding take with an iPhone mic. Would you choose to? Of course not. But you could if you had to,
Yep.
if you had no
Yep.
other choice. Like your preamp just literally caught fire. It was made by PreSonus or something, and it happened to catch fire. Sorry, PreSonus.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're not sorry.
Hey, I owned a lot of PreSonus gear back in the day. I still love their monitors. No, and you're dead in the water. Like, crap, they need this right now. I'm going to pull out my iPhone and record that take. I'm going to edit it and send it off and just put it in the right spot. If the acoustics are good, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So,
Yep. And also with the THX, I was thinking about that, and maybe it's to do with the headphone monitor.
it could be maybe that's what
It's
they
the
are
output,
actually
not the input. Yeah.
right. Maybe they're like, well, we can't really certify the mic, but there is a DA converter in there and there is a headphone amp, so we can certify
So
that.
imagine being the salesman in the shop. Well, it's a pretty shit microphone, but the headphone output's pretty good.
So here's the thing about how successful the Yeti is, because good old Behringer comes out with a mic, and I believe they call it the Bigfoot.
Is that right?
No, that wouldn't surprise me.
Oh
one
my
bit.
God, yes. Like they just like with the Mackie preamps where they couldn't
They're
when
shameless.
You look at like there's their Exergy mic preamps, or however you say them, are the same letters as Onyx.
Xenix. They have the Xenix mixer instead of the Onyx. Yeah, they're
like-
shameless. And
like
they've
they
been
can't come
sued
up with-
many times, but they are a big enough company. Their parent company is, I can't remember what it's called, like Music or something. They had the lawyers. But
It's literally the Bigfoot.
yeah. It's the Bigfoot.
The Behringer Bigfoot.
I know.
And it's like on a use stand. It is like they're just like, oh, successful product. We'll do that too.
And the current
It's got a
Yeti.
mute button and a volume button.
How much cheaper of a USB mic can you make? The Yeti, which is branded by Blue, the ultimate USB mic for professional recording. It literally
my
says
God.
that, right? It's $99.99.
According
It's
to who?
$100.
I'm looking at a Behringer for $89, and it's the same thing.
$10 less.
Figure 8 Omni cardioid figure 8.
Right.
So stereo, like dual figure 8 or like left right.
Yep.
Then Omni. Yeah, it's the same product.
It's the same product. But how much?
And okay,
my
wait. Does
point
the
is,
Yeti have
how
a?
much cheaper can you make it? It's already $100. They still found $10 margin. They're like, we can still make this for $10 cheaper, and we can sell it.
And it's worth eating their lunch for that $10.
And
that's how.
there's no way in hell it sounds as good as the Yeti. There's just no way. I can't. I mean, I would be shocked if it sounded as good as the Yeti. And I can't even say I can't believe I'm talking about the Yeti mic right now. Sorry, but
Yep.
it's just
It's abominable.
it's abominable. Yeah. Honestly, it's a testament to consumer technology trickling up into pro audio, and the way they can, at scale, you can produce something of pretty darn good quality at a really, really affordable prices. And this is the way the industry is just going to keep going. Like the gear that you can buy off the shelf at Best, like these mics you can buy at Best Buy. You know, like your standard home theater electronics store. You don't have to go to Guitar Center to buy a Yeti. You can buy it at Best Buy. You know, it's an impulse buy for podcasters.
The reality is, I wouldn't be unwilling to bet that just made by some massive manufacturing company, and we could go make the Pro Audio Suite mic and get the same thing. I mean, down to the chip and the element, and we would just make our own body.
Well, I guarantee a search on YouTube.
I mean, it's like the Harlan Hogan. What was it? What's that mic that he had? The VO1A. What's it called?
Yeah.
It's a Marshall mic.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it says MXL. We know it's an MXL.
Yeah. Right.
I'm looking at a video right now of a teardown of the Yeti. You know, where they take it all apart.
Yeah.
And it's got an XY pair of capsules stacked on top of each other. That's what they're doing. Oh, there's actually how many capsules are in there? There are 3 capsules in there inside the head of the mic.
One for each toe of the Yeti.
Right. Yeah. There's a great guy I love watching, and I know we can wrap this up, but there's a great guy I love watching called DIY Perks, Perks. And he does a video on making a USB microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out.
That one.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really great because you guys will dig it, because he found the capsule, the exact same capsule that comes inside the CAD E100S mic.
Right.
Oh, I've seen
It's the
this.
idea-
And then he
Design
suspends it in this really cool suspension.
Yeah, he
mount.
makes this
like,
really
it's like a
brass
piece of
thing.
art too.
But the thing is,
yeah.
he's really good at fabricating, right? So he's really good at brass, and he likes to he solders the brass and polishes
Yeah.
the brass, and he's really good at making it look cool too. But the end result is right there in front of you. Is like I'm using like a $4 preamp, and I'm using like really, really, really cheap components, and then he compares it to a U87 right there on the video.
Yeah.
And you're
yeah.
just like gobsmacked. You're just like,
Yeah, so it looked really cool too.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
that guy. And the video, the projects are so complicated. Like just to do step one would take me a month.
Yes.
Well, first we're going to bend the brass into this shape and solder it onto this ring and drill holes around it. I'm like that would, no, that would take me a week. You know,
You don't see any of his like trial and errors.
No, not really. I mean, he'll say like, I made it this way and it didn't sound good. And I figured out why. I had to drill
Right,
holes.
and then I put these holes in the
right,
ring.
and then it sounded
Yeah.
better. But
Yeah.
he didn't. Yeah, it's like it's still a YouTube video that has to be 20 minutes, and it doesn't. It's the format. But oh my gosh, it's really cool. I don't know what it means to the industry, but quality will always will out in terms of manufacturing. Something that you can count on to last 20, 30, 40 years has to be made with the best components. But you got to start somewhere, and I guess a Yeti ain't such a bad place to start. It's just an abysmally difficult mic to put on a proper mic arm or a stand.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It has a place to screw in a mic stand, but it has no.
It's heavy.
It's
and
heavy. It
doesn't
has no
pivot.
knuckle. You can't angle it right.
Yeah.
It's just it's far from ideal for pro use, I think.
Yeah. That's why you need a lazy child to stand there and hold it for you.
You're right. We call that Hollywooding. If you're on set and someone says to you, just go Hollywood that. That means you have to literally stand and hold that thing during the take. That's what they call it.
It's Hollywooding.
Like, let's say, go grab a C-stand to hold up that diffuser. Oh, fuck it. Just go Hollywood.
Fuck it, just Hollywood it.
And then someone's got to stand there and hold the diffuser.
Oh, God.
Like, let all the blood run out of their arms.
Yeah. That's what they call it. Hollywood that thing.
Nice.
The Yeti,
Not Hollywood.
the Yeti sure does. Oh wait, no, that is not a large diaphragm. Where's the cat? It's like medium size. It's basically it's an XY pair and then a single,
Right.
probably Omni, I guess.
Yeah, and one's got to be an Omni. You can't fake an Omni. An Omni is an Omni.
But yeah, it's like medium sized diaphragms there.
Mhm.
But they are. I mean, the shock absorption is just like goop, neoprene.
I
Whatever.
mean, and guys have videos on YouTube saying, I hate this mic, stop buying it. It has 58,000 views. And it's a video about hating on the Yeti. Do you think that's hurting Yeti's sales? No,
Probably
not one iota.
probably helps
No.
it actually.
Yeah.
It's like
If they're smart, they'll link to this episode as well.
so
I
so
guess.
because it's an electric, it will eventually lose its charge and be a piece of junk.
That's how
Right.
electric mics work because they're pre-charged, so they have a
Yeah,
lifespan.
They do have a lifespan. Yeah,
Gotcha. Well, there's an
think
argument
so.
against electric mics.
I believe they do. Let me make sure, but I think so.
Ask Dr. Google.
Yeah.
The electric element
I don't.
as
I
a
know nothing.
10-year-old electric microphone. Oh, okay.
It's a battery. I mean, the capsule is a battery.
it says it
I
lasts
think.
30 to 40 years, according to Shure.
I've
Sure.
I've had electric mics die on me, but
They said
I do have some
maybe
mics,
after
yeah.
10 years you'll lose a decibel of output. This is according to
Okay.
Shure. Permanently biased condensers.
That's what
they're
they call
calling
it. What did I say? Charged or pre-charged?
Same
Yeah.
idea. An
Permanently
electret
biased,
or
yeah.
permanently biased condenser element that uses phantom power to supply its impedance converter. And so, yeah, a 10-year-old electret microphone that we have has lost about 1 decibel of sensitivity in 10 years. So we expect about 30 to 40 years of lifespan. That's interesting. I don't think there were permanently biased electret mics 40 years ago.
I think they came out in the 70s.
Maybe, yeah.
I believe. I guess the 70s or the late 60s.
So maybe the oldest ones have stopped working.
Yeah.
Rat hole.
Indeed. Ooh, there's
that
another
one a lot of
rabbit.
places. Usually your battery powered mics are the ones that are also electric condensers.
Usually, yeah. Well, those E100S's, the original one called the E100, literally had an internal battery inside the mic.
Okay.
That eventually you had to
Piece
replace.
of trivia. What very renowned microphone had a battery option?
The 416?
Nope. Bravo.
I don't know.
Very renowned microphone with a battery option.
Very renowned.
With a battery option.
Like from a German company?
Mm-hmm. Andrew? Or not internally. I mean, you could change it, but yeah.
The only one I can think of is the Rode NTG 4 Plus or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's a
That's got a
modern
battery.
mic. though.
87.
Oh, you're talking about an old
A
one.
U87, they had a battery
A
powered
U87 had a battery option.
No.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. I've learned something new.
Well, that was fun. Is it over?
The Pro Audio Suite recorded using Rode NTG 5s and Source Connect. Edited by Andrew Peters and mixed by Voodoo Radio Imaging with tech support from George the Tech Whittam. Help us share the show with more people and get your hands on exclusive content by contributing to our Patreon page. See patreon.com/Pro Audio Suite. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and join in the conversation on our Facebook group. To leave a comment, suggest a topic, or just say g'day, drop us a note at our website, proaudiosuite.com.